The Duck and the Kangaroo, which is written by Edward Lear. Now, if you see the title of the poem, it clearly tells you it is a poem about a duck and a kangaroo, and that's what they both will do in this poem. Let's see about it. But first, let's read something about Edward Lear. So, Edward Lear was a very well-known poet and who was very famous for his literary nonsense in poetry. So, if you read this poem, you will also realize what kind of poem this is. There is nothing special. There is nothing happening great. It is a very simple story where nothing huge, no lesson, nothing is there in the story. If you see the bottom line of the story, you'll think that this poem is completely nonsense. In fact, not only this poem, Edward Lear's most of the poems, if you read it, you will see that it is actually a kind of nonsense that is there. He's not talking anything great or anything he feels. A very simple type of poetry where nothing huge is being done, no complicated words, nothing. Very simple poetry he just writes. Now, if you see his poem, there's one more thing, that sometimes he adds a lot of funny elements also. On contrary, his life was not at all like this. On contrary, his life was very sad. He was not happy in his life. And he was also in depression just at the age of 7. So at the age of 7, he went through a lot of things. His body also did not react well because of him, which he went into depression. And he was very sad in his real life. And that's the reason he also spent his most of the life alone. He did not want company of anybody. He was maximum time of his life, he was alone and he was detached from society. He was not even like, he was not at all a social person. He would not go and socialize at all. He was a very, completely he would stay away from the social life also, because that's how he was. And his poem is completely something very different if you read it out. Now, you know what, there came a point of time in the history of literature when this kind of artwork or literature work became very popular, where there was nothing. There's nothing in the poem, there's nothing great, no lesson, nothing, but still the poem is very, still the literature art is very appreciable, because these writers have shown the world that even if you're not great, if you're not something who writes great work, still you can be recognized, and still even if you're not doing great things in life, that is also fine. So the motive of these kind of literature was this. And now in this poem, though you will see that there is nothing great happening, but he has still conveyed a very right message to the readers. There is a very nice message that I'll be telling you at the end of the poem, that what message he has intended to give, but when you will see the poem, you will realize there is nothing. Okay, so this poem actually shows a relationship between two friends. That is, one is the duck and the second one is the kangaroo. How friendship actually dwells between these two animals. So let's read the poem.